I'm here with a little end of year wrap up video where I basically am going to go over my New Year's resolutions from 2022, review them, and then set my resolutions for 2023. I'm also going to set up my monthly goals for January and also my budget for January. So let's go into it. Here I have up my 2022 resolutions page, and I just use Notion to keep track of it. And so, starting with diet, last year I had these as my resolutions, and these two come from the fact that I drink a lot of soda and really should cut back on that. So, I wasn't able to achieve these two, but I'm going to keep this first one because I think I'll be able to get it this year, and I'm going to delete this one. I also was able to achieve this one, so then I'm also going to delete that one. Okay, so for activity, once school started, I really stopped working out. I was okay with it over the summer, but then I really just stopped working out and didn't even do anything. So then for activity, I set it as 30 minutes a day, at least 3 days a week. I think I was going to start working out during fall quarter and then just got way too lazy and didn't. So I think I'm going to keep that and then try to start it up again. Instead of this one, since it's kind of vague, I'm going to go on a morning run once a week. And I'll probably try to do that Saturday mornings. Stretch 3 days a week, I feel like isn't too bad if I'm already trying to work out 3 days a week, and then I'll just stretch on those days too. And then for sleep, I wanted a more consistent sleep schedule, and I put 12 a.m., which is somewhat realistic, but I'm probably going to get rid of that since it changes when I go to sleep based on when I wake up and how late I have to stay up. Wake up at first alarm more often. I almost never wake up at my first alarm, so I want to keep that on there just so that I can at least try to wake up at my first alarm. Alright, and then in terms of mental, journal at least every other week. I used to journal a lot, and then I stopped once I moved out to the apartment just because I kind of got too lazy to, and sometimes it felt like too much work. But I want to start up again, and so at least every other week I feel like it's pretty good. In terms of this resolution, I used to read a lot where I would be able to complete maybe like 3 to 4 books a month. I haven't been able to do that just because I stopped reading as much once the school year started. But I feel like I'm going to lower that down to 65 just because I feel like that's more feasible for me. And in terms of this one, I'll also lower it down to probably just 60 minutes because I feel like that's also more feasible. I used to spend so much time on Twitter, but I have been spending less time on social media. So I feel like that one's pretty good, and I probably don't need that one anymore. It's only occasional days where I spend way too much time on it. In terms of social, I put like be more social in classes just because I wasn't really doing that. But I feel like I don't really like this category at all that much because it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. For school, I put finish last school year with at least a 3.5 GPA, was able to get that and then start off this school year strong. So then for my new resolution, I'm going to put, since it's for the entire year, I'll try to do finish the 2022 to 2023 school year. And I can finish with a 3.8 GPA if I only get 1 B per quarter, which I'm usually able to do, so I'll probably keep it at that. And then I'll probably start the next school year, the 2023-2024 school year. Or actually, I'm going to do... Okay, so that will be my first one. For my second one, I'm going to put declare. I was considering declaring a minor, and so then I've been planning that for a while but haven't committed to it yet. So that'll be my resolution for the new year, is to finally get around to doing that. I think that's all I'm going to put for school. For financial, this one's going to change a lot just because the fact that I moved out and all that stuff. And so then my first one is to keep my expenses lower than $600 most months, besides a couple of exceptions where I'm okay. So yeah, so I want to keep my expenses lower than 600 most months, because usually my expenses will be around 500 to 600. And that's just excluding months with bigger purchases. Like if I went on a trip or something, that's obviously going to be higher. I want to hit about 2,000 in my vacation fund this year. Before I plan on going on like 2 trips over the summer, one with my friends and one with my family. And right now I have about 1,000 in my vacation fund. So I hope to hit 2,000 by the end of the year, but also including the amount that I'll take out. I want to replenish that. And then my other funds are pretty good. And so then my last one will just be improve my credit score by, I feel like 10 points is a pretty conservative estimate. And then I also wanted to open a Chase credit card, which is just one of the banks I use. I have one credit card right now, so I want to make it my goal to open up one more by the end of this year. Another one of my goals will be to add at least $5,000. Oh, that's kind of high. No, I'll set that. So add at least $5,000 in my high yield savings account. I feel like if I am able to save most of my paychecks and not go over my expense amount too much, I should be able to add that much. Especially since I'm not going to add anything to my emergency fund. And yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Oh, and then one thing I'm forgetting is I wanted to start meditating again. I used to before I went to bed, but then I just kind of lost my night routine as I just would get distracted by a bunch of things. So I want to start up again and probably get to at least 3 days a week. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good for now. So just going over it one last time is that for my resolutions, the categories are physical with these subcategories, mental, school, and financial. So now I'm going to switch over to my monthly savings or my monthly goals, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I have my monthly goals up right now. I actually haven't used this page since like probably October, but I wanted to start using it again. And so starting with physical, and I'm kind of going off of my yearly resolutions. And so the first thing with physical is to just start working out again. And this could just be like once a week and just like working up to my goal of 3 times a week. And then it would also be to stretch at least once a week. And I'm going to put, as going off my last like working out goal, is to go on at least one run this month. And that's all I'm gonna do right now. And then for mental, I'm going to do to journal at least twice this month. Just because that is my goal, but I eventually want to get to a point where I'm journaling probably at least a week. And so I feel like starting off with once a month is pretty good. And then I also want to finish at least 2 books. Okay, and that's all I'm going to put for mental. For school, nothing really much is happening for school, just because in 1 month, not much has happened. Like sometimes you don't even really get to midterms. So I'm just actually going to leave that blank for now. For financial, I'm going to put spend or keep expenses less than $500, just because with this month, in terms of like, I'll explain more of my budget, but I think that I'll be able to keep it less than 500, and so I'm going to set that as my goal. And I think that's all I'm going to put for now. I usually keep my monthly goals quite brief because there's only so much you can do in a month. And now I'm going to move over to my budget. Okay, so I have my budget up for this month, and this is a template that I make and I use for myself. I'm not going to go over my December spending, and I'm just going to start with this one. So for rent, I pay $275 of my, let's start with income actually. So for income, since I work a job at my university, and since the first week we're still on winter break, it'll only be 3 weeks of working. And I don't work a ton, and so then and since my hours are set, I should make $315 in income. Given just means any money that I'm given from like financial aid, like whatever's left over financial aid after tuition, money given by my parents and all that stuff, and it should be $2,376.13. And so for rent, I pay $275 of my rent, and then my parents cover the rest, and then I cover everything else. Utilities is a fixed rate of $18.75. Electricity is variable, but between me and my roommates, I usually pay less than anywhere from like $10 to $20, so I'll put 20. Wi-Fi is 15 for each of us. Groceries, I split groceries with my sister because we eat our meals together, and so usually I'll put 50 towards groceries. Takeout and eating out, I've been eating out a lot this last month, so I really want to reduce how much I'm eating out and just like eat more meals at home. So I'm only going to put 15 to it and try really hard to stick to it. For school fees and supplies, most of it I've like dealt with already, so it's like not part of my budget, but the only thing I have left to deal with is the chem lab fees, and I'm not really sure when they actually charge it on my account, but it's usually towards the middle of the quarter, so I'm not going to add it to my budget yet. For gas, I also split gas with my sister, and so I'm going to put $35 towards it. For household, I don't need anything this month since I bought it out last month. Subscriptions, just $5 for Spotify. I've been spending a lot of money on like beauty and hygiene products and clothes, so I don't want to put anything towards that and just try really hard to not spend any money on it. For plans and events, I don't think I'll actually be doing anything this month just because with the quarter starting and all that stuff, I'm doubt I'm gonna like be going out when I hang out with my friends, probably just like chilling and stuff. Gifts, my grandma's birthday is coming up, so I'll put $20 for that, and miscellaneous just $15 for anything that I'm not sure of. So my buffer fund is basically just a savings account with like a variable amount of money, just whatever I have that I use to like pull out of whenever I don't have enough in my checking, whether that's just because I didn't leave enough in there or I'm making a big purchase. So I'm probably gonna put $2,000 in my buffer fund and just leave the rest that I'm going to have in my checking, because I plan on moving some of the money in my buffer fund into my emergency and travel fund. So I'm just going to leave it as it is now and probably reevaluate for February. And I think that's pretty much it. So that was my end of the year wrap up. Next month, at the end of January, I'll probably do another video where I basically go over my January expenses and then use that to set my February budget while also going over my monthly goals. And so I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you liked it and let me know like how I could improve this video or what you would like to see. And that's it. Bye! Hope you enjoyed!